Thank you. I met my husband in the fall of 1993. And while I'm a sucker for a really good love at first sight story, that is not this story. My husband was born with a pretty severe form of cerebral palsy. He uses an electric wheelchair to get around, and he has a speech impediment. So when I met him, I was faced with an instant conflict. On the outside, I was faking it, and I was to him saying things like, or pretending to say things to him like, oh, I get your wheelchair, I understand your disability, I understand you when you speak, when I didn't. He has this speech impediment, so it's really hard to understand him when you first get to know him. When I met him, I was new to town, a town of Coronado, California, which is this beautiful island town off of San Diego. And as fate would have it, Steve and I were invited to the same 3 dinner parties right in a row. And as I got to these dinner parties, what I realized as I looked around is the people at the dinner parties who had gotten to know him were braver than I was. They were more honest than I was about Steve. So what I learned is that they had taken the time to get to know him, and they had taken the time to ask gently about his disability and why he was in a chair. So as time went on, I thought, I want to do this. I want to know about this human. I don't know anything about him. And I leaned in a little bit, and I got a little bit brave, and I got a little bit honest. And what resulted was a crazy friendship, and I adored him. Not too long after that, we fell madly in love, and we fell in love for the hundreds of thousands of reasons that other people fall in love. He's smart, and he's funny, and he's kind, and at the same time, I was confused, because while I was falling in love with a man, here was this big contraption before me and speech impediment, and I was kind of a mess for a while. I didn't know what to do with that. Thankfully, love won. And 18 months later, we got married, and we had 2 babies. And since I can remember how curious I was, I will tell you that our kids came to the world in the usual way, like the Cats in the Cradle song. So I've come to see disability in two lights, old school and new school. And Stephen will tell you that had he been born to his own grandparents, he would have lived his life in an institution, or he would have lived in his mom's family home until he died. Instead, his parents, who were so wise and are still so wonderful, said to him, you know what, kid, this is your fate. You have a disability, and in our eyes, you're terrific. You're going to need some help, and you're going to need to navigate your disability, but if you can do things, we're going to let you struggle. We're going to let you take time to do it, and if you need help, we're there. If not, you go for it. As a result, Stephen graduated from college. He became an environmental engineer. We got married. We got married, had our kids, and he started a camp for kids with disabilities near Lake Tahoe. As if that wasn't enough, my husband, who I'd like to introduce to you now, did something monumental, absolutely monumental for any human, but he has the use of really one limb. So I am so proud that he is my husband. I am so proud that he is the father of my kids, that I want you to know him. Please meet my husband, Steve Wampler.
So in 2009, I really wanted to put my foundation on the map big time to prove to kids all around the world that they could do anything if they put their mind to it. So I was in Yosemite in 2008, 9 and looked up at El Capitan and said to myself, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to climb El Cap. So for 18 months, I was trying, and then gym and the solid rock gym for up to 5 hours a day, and did 3,000 pull-ups a day. I knew the climb was going to be difficult, but I didn't know how difficult it was going to be. So I physically prepared myself, but mentally, I didn't know how it was going to go. So on September 12, 2010, I started my climb. I spent 6 days climbing the face of a 2,000-foot vertical face, and I had to sleep in the rock for 5 nights. I didn't sleep at all. Didn't sleep for 8 straight days. So it took 20,000 pull-ups to reach the top. I submitted on September 17th, and I don't remember any of it.
I do.
There was a camera crew of 18 people on the face of the rock. There was a crew of 2 to help set the ropes. And the climb proved to kids around the world that anything is possible.
That's right. So while what he did was as big as it gets, just monumental, my challenge to you is to lean in, to be brave, to be honest, to ask questions, because you might enjoy a relationship with a whole, complete, full, complicated human like I do. And I am the grateful recipient of his self-reliance, his ambition, his optimism, and his sense of adventure. And this is what we call New World Disability. Thank you.
Thank you.